You made a bad decision today. Maybe you ate something you knew you shouldn't. Maybe you scrolled for an hour when you had work to do. Maybe you said yes when every rational part of you knew the answer was no. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you asked yourself the same question you always ask. Why do I keep doing this? Here is the answer you were never given. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing at being human. You are succeeding at being an animal. And that distinction is about to change everything you think you know about yourself. Your brain is not a mistake-making machine. It is a survival machine. And the gap between those two things is where most of modern psychology has gone wrong. Go back 200,000 years. Your ancestors are living on the open savanna. Food is scarce. Predators are everywhere. The future is not a concept. There is only now. Only the immediate. Only what keeps you alive through the next hour. Every single cognitive shortcut your brain developed in that environment was a masterpiece of engineering. Every bias, every impulse, every irrational pull toward comfort or sugar or social approval. It was survival code, written in the most permanent ink there is. Genetics. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman spent decades mapping the architecture of human judgment. In his landmark research summarized in his work on dual process theory, he identified two systems at war inside every human mind. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, rational. Here is the part that changes everything. System 1 almost always wins. Not because you are weak, because System 1 is older, faster, and was built for a world where hesitation got you killed. Think about what you call a bad decision. You reach for the high-calorie food. In 200,000 BC, that is not a bad decision. That is you surviving a famine that might come next week. You avoid hard work when rest is available. On the savanna, rest is never wasted. You expend energy on status, on how others perceive you, on social drama that seems trivial. But social exclusion in a tribal world was a death sentence. Your ancestors who did not care about what others thought of them got left behind. Their genes did not survive. Yours did. You are the product of a ruthless, beautiful, multi-generational filter. Every instinct you have that makes you feel ashamed was the winning strategy in a world that no longer exists. The anthropologist Robert Sapolsky has spent his career studying the biology of human behavior. In his research on stress and decision-making, he found something startling. The same hormonal systems that govern animal behavior in the wild govern yours in a boardroom, a relationship, or a fast food drive-through. Your cortisol spike when a deadline approaches is chemically identical to the fear response a zebra feels when it spots a lion. Your body does not know the difference between a performance review and a predator. It fires the same ancient alarm. And then you wonder why you made a bad choice under pressure. That is not a character flaw. That is a 300-million-year-old nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. But here is where it gets stranger. Here is the part that might actually bother you. Some of the decisions that hurt you most are not mistakes at all. They are optimized choices for a world that no longer exists. You procrastinate. Modern life calls it laziness. But procrastination is your brain scanning the environment for threats before committing resources. In a world of actual physical danger, acting before the situation was clear was how you got killed. Your hesitation is caution. Ancient, survival-grade caution. You overeat when food is available. The clinical term is hyperphagia. The evolutionary term is preparation. Your body does not believe the grocery store will be there tomorrow. It does not believe in tomorrow in any meaningful sense. It believes in now. Fill the reserves now. Rest now. Seek pleasure now. Because now is what you have. You choose the familiar over the better. Psychologists call it status quo bias. Evolutionary biologists call it a feature. Novel environments contain novel threats. The familiar, even when it is bad for you, is a known quantity. Your brain is not choosing comfort, it is choosing survival probability. You seek social validation obsessively. You refresh the page. You check whether they replied. You feel a disproportionate sting when someone ignores you. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA discovered something extraordinary in her neuroimaging studies. Social rejection activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. Not similar regions, the same ones. Your brain treats being left out of the group the way it treats a broken bone. Because for most of human history, being left out of the group meant you were going to die alone in the dark. Your sensitivity to rejection is not your weakness. It is the sensitivity of someone who survived because they never stopped caring about the tribe. So where does that leave you? If every so-called bad decision is actually an ancient solution, what do you do with that? Here is the critical thing. Understanding does not mean surrender. Knowing the source of a behavior does not mean you are trapped by it. But it means something far more useful than guilt. It means you can stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. The psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett has spent years dismantling the myth of the irrational human. In her research on emotion and prediction, she argues that your brain is not reacting to the world, it is predicting it. Constantly running simulations based on every experience you have ever had, every environment your ancestors ever survived. When it gets the prediction wrong for the modern world, we call it a bad decision. But the model was not built for the modern world. It was built for a world of scarcity, danger, and social tribes. And it is running that model flawlessly. You are not bad at being a modern human. You are extraordinarily good at being an ancient one. This is the reframe. Every time you feel ashamed of a choice, every time you beat yourself up for doing the thing again, stop for one moment. Ask yourself not, why am I so weak? But, what threat was this solving? What ancient signal fired? What survival code ran underneath the surface of that moment? Not to excuse it, not to repeat it, but to understand it completely. Because you cannot change what you do not understand. And you cannot understand yourself if you keep treating evolution like a bug instead of a source code. The story your culture tells you is that you are a rational creature who occasionally falls short. The truth is almost the opposite. You are a survival creature who occasionally manages to override 10,000 years of programming and do something genuinely rational. And every time you do that, you are not winning against your brain. You are using your brain's most recent upgrade, the prefrontal cortex, to negotiate with every older, louder system underneath it. That negotiation is what modern life actually is, not a test of willpower. A conversation between who you are now and every ancestor who kept you here. You made a bad decision today. So did every human alive. So did every human who has ever lived. And every single one of those decisions, buried inside their ancient logic, contains a reason you are still here to make them. That is not a flaw in the design. That is the design working exactly as intended.